All right, or start streaming rather. Hello and welcome to the stream. My name is Lee, and today is Sunday, and we're gonna go here. Cool. Time is now. Place is in New York. Pearl River, New York, to be specific. Well, I probably shouldn't tell you that. Anyway, it's New York, New York. All right. Let me do the thing. Check on announcements. 1:30. Okay, right. So plan is we are going to pregame. That's our plan. Is we're pregaming. So my plan is, for those of you who every Sunday, as most of you know, we do what's called Tales of Arcanum Race Guide. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with Tales of Arcanum, let me just bring it up because it's kind of cool. So, Tales of Arcana, rather. So it starts with this planet called Genesis, and this one guy called Matt Kniesel, who is a a very yeah, there we go. That's a reasonable. That is starts out with this guy who created this epic Tales of he created this epic little random thing, and I backed the stuff. It sounded very interesting, so I backed it on Kickstarter. This was not pre-pandemic, but at least 2021 at some point. And recently, not recently, it's been months, actually. What I did was I dug it up on a random stream. I was like, hey, let's look into this. Let's see what this is. Turns out it's really cool. So what I've been doing for the past 6 months, I think I started in January, is every Sunday I've been doing a Tales of Arcana stream. And we've been going over the different races. We've been asking questions, taking notes. I'm generally vibing with it. It's very fun. There's a lot of lore. So we've been, going through lore searches and just deep diving and hanging out and vibing. And let me see if I can't. Does that change anything? Wait, and then I just which one am I using? That one. So if I unlock temporarily, so I can just scooch it over a little bit. Better? Okay. I mean, in any case, that's my usual play. So I do that, and then Sunday streams are hard to get the timing right, because I started getting I know that there's a charity stream going on this weekend for the National Abortion Foundation, which I would highly encourage you to donate to, personally. Not because I believe that abortions are a good idea when unnecessary, but I also know that sometimes they are necessary for health and safety of everyone involved. And honestly, it's should be between any person and God. What you do with your own uterus is between you and God. The morals of it should not be law. But that's just me. So I know that there's charity stream going on, so I know some of you are probably off on that one instead of here. But beautiful. All right. What else? So there's that, and what else? We got this, we got that, we got the other thing. Where are we doing? One more thing I wanted to do. And then I promise I will actually start going and showing you cool lore stuff and, vibing. If you guys are good with that. Beautiful. Okay. That's about as much as I've got done. All right. So now hopefully we just have friends show up. And if not, no worries. Oh, there was one more thing. So, yeah. The Necropolis is a... all right. So today is, let's see what we got. So usually, we could do a lore, just randomly go through and pick, wait, Leprechaun? Kringle, okay. Laguna. All right, there's some fun ones. We could start with that and then go from there. Lazari, I have no idea what some of those are. They took everything from every conceivable pop culture source and just threw it all together in a blender and like made some really cool lore to make it kind of work, and it's just intense. So I'm thinking we start with Laguna. Ooh. Scary monsters from the depths of... Alright. Well, maybe not depths. Once every generation, the gods and spirits of the sea appoint an ocean beast, a powerful champion to protect the mortal domain of water. A human sailor who drowns can become the ocean beast if they were devout to the sea and life. This Laguna demigod's features constantly change to reflect the different aquatic animals. Can travel Genesis' bodies of water via the blue path, a force that connects all aquatic life. Okay, that's a hell of a lore drop to just leave in a tiny little bubble and not elaborate on. Let's see what we got here. We are nothing if not patient. Other races fight and destroy each other while we breed and increase our numbers. Is that Za'ata? Laguna Queen of the Gothican Alliance. Ooh. A race of amphibious fish beasts inhabiting jungles, swamps, and lagoons. So they are amphibious. They're land-based as well. Okay, that makes sense why they have legs and fins. Okay. That's cool. Often find members of other races more attractive than their own. Though believed to be feral creatures without reason, lagunas have cultivated a powerful societies hidden beneath bodies of water. Okay, they sound like great old ones. They sound kind of like great old ones, but let's see. Muscular humanoids covered in fish scales. They have webbed feet and hands, both of which are clawed. Fins cover their bodies to increase their speed when swimming. They lack noses and have terrifying mouths lined with fangs. Their fish-like eyes have eyelids, but they blink only when out of the water. They are green or blue, but they can come in any color or patterning found among aquatic species, mainly those of fish. Lagunas swim with poise and grace, though on land they are hunched and move like feral beasts. They have low, rumbling voices that sound like echoes in a deep-sea cave. Ooh. Have been feared since the first arose from the waters, used in stories to scare children in fishing villages. They keep to themselves, though constant aggression from land dwellers has made them proactively hostile toward races such as humans, elves, and dwarves. Luna often cooperate with others pushed to the outskirts of civilization, including monstrous races and the undead. Alright. Up from the depths. Lagunas have many creation myths. Some claim they were created by the sea goddess Tiamat to serve her. Okay, as far as I recall, Tiamat is a dragon deity, but okay, sure. Another story says they were birthed by Echidna long before the God Wars. The brilliant scientist Victor Frankenstein theorized Lagunas were created when goo contacted some humans in swampy biomes, though he was unsuccessful with his experiments to recreate the phenomenon. Okay, goo is... Alright, hang on. No, search is gonna problem with that one. I can feel it. Modern scholars trace the origins of Lagunas to the Uncarta region, known for dense jungles and sprawling island chains, where they were originally called Siokoi. Lagunas had never had much impact on history, keeping to themselves in small enclaves hidden in swamps and jungles. Some, though, have banded together to create underwater cities on suspended land masses encased in enormous domes of air. Well, okay, if they're amphibious, then why do they need air in their cities? Like, that doesn't make sense, you know what I mean? There's no reason for any species to have air in their cities if they're frickin', if they have, water-breathing capabilities, you know what I mean? Like, unless there's a problem with the skin where it gets waterlogged, if it's underwater too long, then there should be just underwater cities, not bother with the frickin' domes of air. Especially because the engineering behind that would be difficult, although in a magical society not impossible. Still seems a little excessive, but okay. Okay, hang on, we're putting that in our notes. So, a side note to any new viewers, I have a Arcana notes. I have a whole list of questions that I put together. Here, let me do this for a sec. Based on various races and, like, if you have two sets of breasts, are bras readily available? Stuff, random questions that, about Genesis that I like to keep track of as I continuously go through this and read about lore and if I do find an answer in a later entry that mentions something, I'll put it in, but usually, like I did with the invaders, but, let's see. Why do the cities have air bubbles if they can breathe water anyway? Like, it seems like a waste of resources. I mean, it's just me. But we'll go back to it. There we go. They also have boobs, but no nipples, so probably don't reproduce. Well, anyway. Let's see. Okay, so suspended land nesters encased in enormous domes of air. These lagunas have joined the Gothican Alliance, despite being spread apart in locations as diverse as the Trench and the swamps near New Obadon. These cities are essential for the survival of the species, serving as hatcheries for their kind. Lagunas rarely find their own kind attractive and would have become extinct in a few generations had not measures been taken to prolong their species. However, the leaders of Laguna cities don't trust others, even their allied Gothicans. Bante Tubig. Bante Tubig is another underwater civilization in the Unkarta region. While many aquatic species live there, it is ruled by a race called Kata, humans capable of transforming to be human-like versions of Laguna. Huh. I wonder if Kata have their own... I think we're going to have to go and look those up and see if they have their own race entry. Kata are considered Encanto, a type of elemental demigod unique to the Unkarta region. The Encanto have kept the Empire and the other nations from colonizing their lands, though the outside world knows little of them or Bante Tubig. The other Encanto rely on the Keta's magical and military might, which in turn depends heavily on enslaved Laguna. Enslaved? Ooh, okay, we got drama. Many of which are treated as little more than domesticated animals. This situation might be why Lagunas originally fled Unkarta and why they are now so secretive about their hatchery cities, though the Keta and other Encanto know as little about them as they do about the outside world. Okay. So, that's a hell of a lore dump. Alright, that's the next planet. But so, if you want to play Laguna, because these all have, stats on how to play these characters as player characters for 5th edition. Let's see, Constitution score increases by 2, Strength increases by 1. After becoming an adult within 4 years, Laguna can live up to be up to 75. Okay? Kind of kobolds. See their personal freedom and desires as most important, and they live without thinking much about the consequences. However, they tend toward gentleness rather than cruelty, chaotic neutral, leaning toward chaotic good. They're not cruel inherently, but they value their own freedom and benefit over anything else. Lagunas are native to the wild, remote places they barely leave, so fairly rare. Built like a muscular human, your size is medium. Base walking speed is 30 feet. Swimming speed is also 30 feet, so same speed, land or water. Breathe air and water. See, why do they put air in their hatchery cities if they can... Especially because having... let's see. Unless the Kata can't breathe air. That might be... If the Kata can't breathe air, then there would be no reason... That would be the only reason to put air in their hatchery cities. Because if they were airless, it would keep other people who couldn't breathe water out. And there are more people who don't like them who breathe air than breathe water. Proficiency in perception, stealth, and survival skills. Okay, that's the question is, can Kata breathe air? That's an important question. But you can see why there's just... This is the whole book, essentially. There's, like, lore drop, like, huge, random, just this overarching craziness. Just, like, little tidbits of lore, and it's just like, what? Oh, okay, that's a thing. Which is why it's so fascinating and frustrating at the same time. Okay, You have fangs and claws. Also, unarmed skirt can deal 1d for piercing damage or slashing damage. Your natural weapons have the light and finesse properties, and you have proficiency with them. So you can bite or scratch, depending on whether you want to do piercing or slashing damage, and or what's closest to your opponent. And if they taste good. Or if your hands are tied, or your mouth, if you only have one. Through a sort of limited telepathy, you can communicate simple ideas with small or smaller aquatic or amphibious beasts. So you can make fish do stuff for... Well, you can't make them do stuff for you, but you can kind of generally get vibes to fish. Speak common and monstrous. Some learn aquatic as well. Learn to read and write only if their background or class suggests they do. Makes sense. If you're underwater half the time, writing might be difficult. Okay. Okay. Alright, that's a whole thing. Alright, let me go to... So, we're gonna look at Kata and or Encanto. We're gonna go to the Kata. No, Kata do not have a entry here. I think. And A, B, C, D, F, E, F. Elemental aid. Elfkin, Evo, Angel. Hang on. Let's go to the elemental pages, because water. Let's 136. Because many elements exist, such as tech and whimsy, but earth, fire, water, and wind are the main four that keep the world in balance. Nymphs are elemental beings with corporeal forms, metaphysically connected to their domains, while water nymphs, such as naiads and nereids, are less well known. Each element, including the lesser known ones, has its own nymphs. Okay, let me look at what this says. Without the balance of the elemental realms, there would be chaos. Should the water scape fall, or the fire scape accumulate more power, then the mortal plane would fall into disarray. Anya, elemental primal of water. Water elementals are primordial beings naturally formed through the coalescence of magic and water. They can become formless and still retain their consciousness even when mingled with ordinary water. Water elementals originate from the waterscape and elemental plane of water, but they can manifest on the mortal plane. So these are not cat taught. They created a whole... They have 200 fucking playable races, and they created one that isn't even in the list. Like, okay. Yeah, you could have done something. Present a humanoid shape, though they're made of water and capable of altering their general form. They can take non-human shapes, such as Canid or angels. To differentiate themselves from others, they weigh around as much as typical human, but can be decidedly heavier, since water forms have more of their being than might appear. Water elementals are featureless and have no gender, so they choose forms that best reflect their identities. They can, I guess, look masculine or feminine, depending on mood. Okay. They're calm and compassionate, looking to the needs of others. Those who manifest on the mortal plane are highly empathic and attentive. Many serve in roles where they can be helpful, such as clerics and firefighters. They are welcome in any adventuring party. Water elementals can be found across Arcana, though they are most common around bodies of water, such as the lake sea, or the ports of the Sorcerer's Coast, as they can travel to areas thought hostile to them, such as the Sharek's Desert. So they can travel through the desert. If they consider any location a home, it would be the floating sea within the Empire, a huge body of water that ebbs and flows a few hundred feet above the ground. Travelers who enter it via waterwise can see water elemental cities suspended within. Okay. That's a lore dump in and of itself. That's a whole... Okay. See, there's so much lore. I love it, and I hate it. It's ridiculous. But let's, feel a great guilt for the flood. The Archangel Castiel was able to use the waters of the waterscape to cover Genesis, destroying most of civilization at the time. None blame the water's elementals for this event, but this tragedy has weighed deeply on their culture. Hydrana, the elemental primal of water, wishes to keep the waterscape and the mortal plane apart for this reason. Water elementals do their best to keep out of the politics of mortal races, though they will try to protect innocents from harm if able. For instance, when King Crab and his armies attacked Arkham of the Empire's Dunwich province. Okay. Arkham Dunwich is, for those of you who don't know, a fictional town on the coast, the North Shore of Massachusetts, heavily written about by H.P. Lovecraft and his original Cthulhu mythos. He was a racist bastard, but he did write well, and Arkham Dunwich is well known in the annals of pop culture. Oh, good, no one's chatting. I realized that if I hadn't been paying attention, so if anyone was staying in chat, popped in to say hello, they would be immediately not vibing, which is, I was hoping someone would pop in and say hello, but, that's okay. No worries. Boop. Here we go. I like to do the Sunday streams if no one watches, because it's really cool, and I do put them up on, most of my streams can be found on YouTube. Just vibing and existing, and you can watch them later if you're so inclined. Apparently some people watch the Greyhawk ones later, which is a whole thing. So yeah, they're just there if you want to watch them. but let's see. And then, so there's also nymphs. Water elementals are not nymphs, though, apparently. Naiads and nereids. Elemental beings with corporeal forms metaphysically connected to their domains. Are elemental beings with corporeal forms metaphysically connected to their domains? Alright, so are the nymphs the same as elementals? That's the... Okay, let me look. Let me look at the thing to see if they have a list on nymphs or nereids or... Consortium. Also, I have to keep an eye on the time because I promised Thomas that I would at least partially watch his stream. He's doing a Monster of the Week stream. It's very fun stuff. Highly recommend you go see. Let's see, grade. Okay. Nymphs would be N, right? So let's start with N and C. Nimrod. Nope. What about Nereids? No, they have Nagas. Interesting. Navigator, Nimrod. Okay. Why don't we go if societies, groups, metaphysics, miscellaneous. Alright, let me, not goo, that's not gonna help, but we could, go back to, you ready, Laguna, and let's try something. If this, let's see, 260, we're gonna do a interesting lore dive. Kata, Encanto. Alright. Encanto. Yeah, if we do goo, it's gonna put stuff like good, and then we're just gonna have to... But Encanto should be working on it. Okay. 16. Alright, let's start with that. 5 here. Alright. Filipino Pantheon. Okay. Hang on. Let me see. Boom. While one can worship any number of gods, everyday parishioners tend to worship cosmic beings that are thought to oversee specific regions or nation. In a world where the powers of the gods can be observed with one's own eyes, pantheon worship is practical as well as cultural. Though they might not all be gods, all members of a pantheon have godlike powers. Of the pantheon, some of the most notable are the Aesir, Akuna, Amatsukami, Anunnaki, Avalon, Devas, we know, Divas, Nitsov, Ened, Encanto. Alright, so the Encanto are a pantheon group. Okay. A type of elemental demigod unique to the... Okay, so they're part of the pantheon. That's it. There are 5? Okay. Okay. That's it. So there's just that. Some random... Okay, so it's one of the pantheons. So, Olympian, Orisha, Romulan, Shin, Teotl... Yeah, okay, so they're basically pantheons based on various Earth cultures, including Filipino, which is Encanto. That's interesting. Okay. 3. Alright, we're going to look at the other one. Because there was one more. There was one of those, I think. There was one other one that... versions of other real-world pantheons also exist. Other notable worshipped pantheons are these guys, and okay. So any real-world culture has, okay. So they made up this entire slave system and have one reference to it in the entire freaking... Okay. Alright, here's how we're going to do this. We're going to redo it. It's going to be... Yep. Nope. It's... all of them were there. Okay. Never mind. That's it. Okay. Vibe. Alright. Well, that is a vibe. They just basically had this whole extra thing and do not have any extra information on it. Other than okay, so these guys, there's the demigods. So okay, let me the four other deities in faith. Oh, wow. Okay, there are arch squirrels. Alright. Davy Jones. Echidna, Mother of All Monsters. Empire sanctioned deity. Personification created by the Empire to instill national pride. Do you think he's like Hetalia, where he's like the Empire? Like, I don't know if you guys know Hetalia. It's an anime. And manga. It was originally a manga. It was actually a lot of fun. I used to be so into the fandom, mostly because my friend was, and I watched all 52 episodes. They were 5-minute episodes, 52 5-minute episodes over the course of the night before the first big anime convention, and yeah, it was intense because they were into it, so I was into it because I wanted to be, and we used to half clown. An immortal said to possess a gun that can kill anything in creation. Freaking okay, that's just thrown in there. You see the amount of lore that's just kind of like casually dropped that you're just like clutching at scraps. Okay, so, but let me, let's see, Laguna was 260, right? If I remember correctly, or is that the, yes. Okay, so, I guess that's all we know. That, underwater civilization in the Uncarta region, while many aquatic species live there, is ruled by a race of kata, called kata, humans capable of transforming to be human-like versions of Laguna. Kata are considered Encanto, a type of elemental demigod, unique to Uncarta. Okay, so the Uncarta region probably has the Encanto, which is the Encanto, which is the demigods, unique to the region. Other nations from colonizing, they've kept away colonizers. Okay, so they keep away colonizers. It's a remote area of the world, and the Empire doesn't really do the thing. So there's no maps in this book, specifically because Matt, the writer, wanted to keep the place fluid in terms of where things were, and you know, there's various geographical, but he wanted it to be kind of like a more, you know, offensive vibe. It's interesting though. Hi! Hello! Welcome! You're the only person to pop into chat today, so that's fun. Okay, listen to this though. If you haven't heard, because I just... So, so, Laguna are these, muscular humanoids covered in fish scales. They're aquatic. They can breathe on both land and water. And have been feared since they first arose from the waters, used in stories to scare children in fishing villages, and often keep to themselves. Constant aggression from land dwellers has made them proactively hostile. Kind of, yes. Here's the thing. So, they've banded together. Some have banded together to create underwater cities and suspended landmasses encased in enormous domes of air. That's the first question: is why the f do they have freaking air in their cities if they can breathe water anyway? Like, why would you put air in your cities? They've joined together in the Gothican Alliance, despite having spread apart locations as diverse as the Trench and the swamps near New Obadon. These cities are essential for the survival of the species, serving as hatcheries for their kind, rarely find their own kind attractive, and would have become extinct in a few generations had not have some not taken measures to prolong their species. However, leaders of the Laguna cities don't trust others, even their allied Gothicans. I feel like there's probably more to the Gothican Alliance than just them. But okay. Funday Tubik, because this is the fun. Yeah, well, that's what. They learn to read and write only if their background or class suggests they do. But Funday Tubig is another underwater civilization in the Encarta region. While many aquatic species live there, it is ruled by a race of Kata, humans capable of transforming into more human-like versions of lagunas. Kata are considered Encanto, a type of elemental demigod unique to the Encarta region. Oh, I see. So they put the air so they can read and have potato chips. I mean, that is a thought. If you want to keep records, it's easier to have records on dry land. And potato chips do suck when they're wet. But, that's a thought. Interesting. The Encanto have kept the Empire and the other nations from colonizing the lands, though outside the world, no little of them or Funday Tubik. The other Encanto rely on Keta's magical and military might, which in turn depends heavily on enslaved lagunas, many of which are treated as little more than domestic animals. This situation might be why lagunas originally fled Encarta and are now so secretive about their hatchery cities. Here's the thing, though. That, Kata, there's no other information in this there's no Kata, entry in terms of the race. There's no, Encanto is just, mentioned as one of the pantheons. So these are demigods, but they also are, it's also the name of the pantheon? Ah, yes. Two are combined into one leisure activity, sitting and eating, reading books while eating potato chips, which you can't do in a city that's underwater. So if you want to make a city, I guess, having at least some air pockets where you can sit and read and eat potato chips would be kind of handy. All right, there is that. But here's the thing. There's an entire civilization enslaving these guys that has resisted Empire colonization, and there is no lore on them other than this one paragraph. This is all the lore we get on this entire freaking enslaving civilization thing. Like, come on, they could do more lore than that. Although, also, another huge lore drop on this one. Once every generation, the gods and spirits of the sea appoint an ocean beast, a powerful champion to protect the mortal domain of water. A human sailor who drowns can become the ocean beast if they are devoted to the sea and life. This Laguna demigod's features constantly change to reflect different aquatic animals. It can travel Genesis' body of water via the blue path, a force that connects all aquatic life. Alright, but hang on. I think what there was, Gothican. Yeah, I think Gothican, okay, no, that's a different, what are those? What? Mary, okay. Kringle, that's a thought. Alright, okay, so let me, Gothican. Gothican. Okay. There's more on this. So, during the Gothican Alliance. Mummy, Pharaoh of the Gothican Alliance. Alright, so who has claim to the throne? We all bear royal blood, or at least we would if we weren't dried from our bodies. If it weren't dried from our bodies. Without the Alliance, we would have faced certain civil war. The Gothican Alliance. Okay. Many believe they'd, it was Imhotep who pushed the council to have their new, Cyrus kingdom join the Gothican Alliance. Okay, so the mummies joined the Gothican Alliance. No. Yes, no, they do have boobs, although they do not have nipples, suggesting they do not nurse their young. In fact, they have hatcheries, so we know they don't nurse their young. But yes, they do not seem to have, dicks. But, okay, so, was controlled by the Romulan Imperium. Their empire was waning as they did not really have the ability to retake it at the time, but in recent years they've made a concentrated effort to regain control. Had they not joined the Gothican Alliance, the mummies would have been defeated by the Romulan legions. The Romulans covet dozens of rumored relics that, okay. The boundaries of science must be pushed. Okay, so the Gothican Alliance also includes Frankenstein. Victor Frankenstein, mad scientist and founder of the Gothican Alliance. Okay, so the Gothican Alliance was founded by Victor Frankenstein, and the Laguna joined it. So did the mummies, after they rose from the dead, presumably. I have to look into that. We only skimmed that part. But if they hadn't joined the Alliance, they probably would have been overtaken by the Romulan legions. Worth noting. I believe there is a entry on the Romulans, so there's that. Victor Frankenstein conducted his experiments centuries ago. After several failed attempts, he perfected the process of reanimation, but was run out of the Empire for his practices. Living in exile, Victor founded Gothica in the dark Sylvanian forest, and there taught his process to his first subjects. When he passed, Frankenstein's established the Gothican Alliance, inviting other marginalized monster races into their nation. Today, the Frankenstein mostly live in Gothican lands. They are few in number, with most holding positions of authority within the Alliance government. Some travel outside the Alliance territory to seek out new citizens and investigate new scientific breakthroughs. Elder Frankenstein's plan for the return of the vampire Dracula, who once tried to overthrow the Alliance for his own sinister plans. Okay, here we go. Okay, so he was helping Cleric make his character, and he picked a totally sucky weapon, and I was like, knew the weapon sucks, use Warhammer. He was like, dude, don't be a macist. Oh. Okay. Macist. Alright. Okay. Wow. Okay. The Gothican Alliance is a nation formed by the union of often feared species. The founding Frankensteins have welcomed Lagunas, lichens, mummies, vampires, and zombies into their populace. A fair number of ghosts and humans are also Gothican citizens. Their capital is the castle city Gothica. Using waygates, the Alliance is able to maintain territory across Arcana, including a lot of Laguna cities, because although Laguna don't fully trust their Gothican allies, they did join the Alliance. And, right, they joined the Alliance. I remember this. They joined the Alliance, and, although their territory is spread out. Sorry. Able to maintain territory across Arcana. Their partners also control the sunken bayou cities of the Lagunas, the hunting grounds of Lycans, desert city of Kazara belonging to the mummies, and several vampire-run human villages. Though they are nowhere near as powerful as other nations such as the Empire, Dominion, Federation, or Pact, the Alliance is proving to be power on the rise. God, they have all of the Empire, the Dominion, the Federation, and the Pact. Okay, I want to know about all of these, because Dominion's just doesn't have enough freaking whatever. Okay. Laguna, Gothican, mummies. Right, we that's it. Okay. Boom. Alright, Alright. So we got Mothman. Hi, Edwin! Welcome! So, the book. I was actually gonna end the stream soon, but let me show. It is called Tales of Arcana, a 5e race guide. It was written by Matt Kniesel. He actually has a pronunciation guide. And it is interesting. So basically, it has a lot of lore. Like, a lot. Years of history, angel wars, alien invasions, like, just oodles of it. And a lot of it is just heavily implied. Like, there's an entire civilization enslaving the Laguna, who's one of the races of the book, and the race that's enslaving them is not mentioned anywhere else in the book. So there's a whole, subsection that's just not described in lore. It's like tiny little lore drops that are like, oh, okay, that's a thing. There's quite a bit, and it's fascinating. Actually, there's so much lore. So I've been going through, reading various races, the profiles on them, picking up lore, going through, like the Gothican Alliance, which I just was going through recently. Laguna joined them, so I started with them because what I usually do when I do my Arcana streams on Sundays is go to the list, because I've done a few streams on various He specifically all of the lore, so the epic, terminology, the cosmic forces, the various realms, planes, an afterlife for various carnivorous animals, connects us by the blood path, the void. There are other metaphysical realms such as Negaverse, subspace, underwear, Ikaroth, and the Great Beyond, but the realms listed above are the most likely to affect the mortal plane when unbalanced. So there's a lot. And then there's creation. There's a whole list of various wars, ages, god wars. And then there was the Blood War and... Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, the same one with the Tantrum. Yes, I believe Wonderland. Yeah, we're going over Wonderland races in this book. Yeah, it's the same one. So I was just... was it Clone War? Hang on. The vampire lord Dracula attempted to conquer Arcana by using cloning technology originally used to the Bloodreich to create artificial food source and turn clones into vampire soldiers. Adventurers from the Dominion and Empire team up and fight, defeat this undead threat. Dang. From all over Genesis, travel to Arcana to explore its ruins, search for relics, fight terrifying and weird enemies, yet some question the wisdom of adventuring at all, and non-human resentment is returning. Due to political pressure, the Empire requires adventurers to be licensed. The business lords and corporations oppress commoners, and ancient evil awaken. What Arcana needs now are heroes. And then, of course, we have Dandelion's... Okay. Everrain, a realm of warring Fey courts. Okay. Feral, where the gods imprison their worst evils. You don't want to go there. Gabjabad, a world of technology devas. Neverland. Oz. Sazharazad. Vast deserts of enticing mystery. Sanctum, angel, demon, dwarf, damnation. And then you got Valistron and Wonderland. And then Havens are tiny migratory realms. People usually enter by happenstance through closets, toy chests, board games, and other accidental pathways. Yeah, it was the same one because we were doing Neverland that time. The intent of having alternate dimensions in Elohim is to allow the story masters to create worlds that may have different metaphysical properties or concepts that would not cohesively function within the traditional fantasy world. A world where geography changes daily or dreams become physical might be too weird for the main world. Where you can absolutely make a region where the metaphysics are different from the rest of the world, some players may desire this separation to more easily understand the game's story. That's it. And, So, Anai were a society of humans that were destroyed during the ancient flood. They could create realms by writing a book or era with their blood. Unlike the original realm of fiction, Anai eras grow and change just like mortal realms, but they are imperfect. Other eras can be found within eras, so scholars are unsure of how deep they go. Whew, okay. Languages. Interesting. Okay. And then, of course, the races. But we were going over today Laguna. So, yeah, there is a lot. I think I did... Yeah, oh, there is a map. Here we go. The Essence Core, the Knowing. The Mortal Realm is kind of here. And then you have Fairy, Viscera, Gaia, Realm of Rot, Equinox. Cyberspace is just over here. According to various things, cyberspace... Okay, there's the Smell Force, Reversed Smell Force. You got Nirvana, Astral Plane. Wow. And then you got Purgatory, Shadow Realm, Godlands, Heaven, Purple World. And Tantrum just kind of over here. And then the Void. And Hell down there. The Engines of Reality, which was a first draft. And then the Dreamlands, which is different than Dream. Wow. Okay. And then, of course, the Earthscape and the Gem Realm, which is where the Gemini come from. And they have these magic gems that are highly sought after. which actually feed into a lot of different magics in the world. Oh yes, the Chosen were the first colonizers, and then they established the Waygate Network, and then they were not the. It quite possibly could. I do not know. Hang on a sec, though. What time is it? And is... Nope, it is not up yet. I'm keeping an eye out because... Oh, hi! We have lots of fun viewers now. Welcome. At 1:30 Central Time, which is about 2:30 our time, and it's 2:33 now, what was going to happen was there was going to be a... boom. Blue box, Majiggy, what's it? Announcements, here we go. Yes. At 1:30 p.m. Central Time, which is 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, which is any minute now, essentially, they're going live, which is Cameron, Chandler, Pat, and Robert. There's a lot of fun people. It's going to be exciting. Monster of the Week is a lot of fun. So, my plan was to keep streaming until that started, and then we all go raiding in, watch, because Thomas is awesome, and vibe with that. Let's see. Okay, so if the dinosaur age was the Ice Age, early humans, the Sky War, the Fae and the Gob. Wait, hang on. Alright, so why don't we start at the beginning? Which was the dinosaur age? Is that the start? Squid Age. Okay, creation. The Eternals, powerful beings made of essence, the pure magic of creation, create Elohim. They create the sun and the planets, and most importantly, the superplanet Genesis, whose theosphere houses a core of pure essence that emanates through all of Elohim via the laywebs. Okay, that's why the angels. Alright, so, a note about Genesis history. Alright, off to go run errands. Yes, have fun running errands, Sig, and I will see you at some point or another. Thanks for popping by. And, yes. So, one of the things you learn is that the invaders basically, the angels put this shell around Genesis specifically to protect it. And that's probably why it's because the essence core was attached to Genesis. Because there are any number of other planets in, I think there's like 39 or something, some such, a lot of planets, all of which are inhabited, by the way, and a lot of which form an alliance to try and take Genesis. Like, they've been conquered and done, you know, they have their own civilizations that have, you know, conquered each other and have started to cause, you know, things. There's, you know, and the invaders came to Genesis specifically, and the angels protected it. But the question is, that was my always question is, when you look back, is why did the angels put so much effort into protecting Genesis if all the other planets are also inhabited? And if because the theosphere of Genesis houses a core of pure essence. That's probably why. The Eternals create the Titans to build the mortal plane. The Titans create the Colossals, mountain-sized beings to help them with the task. Metris led the Titans and their mechanical wonders. Gildan ones, beings of chaos and destruction, swarm to Elohim. The Eternals and their Titans defeat the Old Ones and contain them in the void. Negative realm within Elohim. Though trapped, the Olden One's presence corrupts essence, turning it into blight. The Eternals create servants to protect creation, such as angels, cosmic, and evolutionaries. Some Eternals leave Genesis to explore Elohim, develop other planets, and hunt down any remaining Old Ones. Corruption. The surviving Titans, who lost many of them to Old Ones, begin to resent the Eternals. Okay, so the Eternals started on Genesis, but they developed the other planets. Alright, this is, now that I'm reading it again, having learned a little bit about, I'm gonna try something real quick, because it might be, Might be they're just a little late getting started. I mean, it's... I just want to make sure we don't miss it. Oh, haha. It is. They're starting now. Okay. So, okay. Let me check a few things real quick. Okay. So that was Squid Age, Dinosaur Age. So, essence, life rapidly evolved across the planets of Elohim. On Genesis, primeval time of the dinosaurs. While the Saurian races thrive, blight also causes dark and twisted life forms to evolve, like the Bairn. Though the old ones are weakened in their prisons, they send their spawn to the mortal plane. The insectoids, Capri flourish with the blessings of the old one. This is an age of constant struggle for control. Strange visitors from beyond the stars, known only as the Chosen, arrive on Genesis and begin to colonize parts of the planet. Using advanced technology, they establish a waygate network that allows them to travel across Genesis into other realms and various planets of the solar system. As quickly as they arrive, the Chosen seemingly vanish, leaving behind their technological wonders. I wonder if the angels probably chased them off, I would gadget. I mean, they chased off the other alien invasion. Okay. I think we're gonna have to do this manually. So, Blue Box RPG. Alright, so I'm gonna send us, I'm gonna send us to raid Blue Box RPG. They're very awesome, and I want us all to say a big hello and, tell everyone how awesome they are. And we're gonna raid in, say hello. Next week we'll come back to this. Next Sunday we'll come back to the supplement and do more lore, and it's gonna be awesome. And I can't wait to see you guys there. If you guys want to do lore on other times, let me know. Oh, before I do that very quickly, let me go to the Majiggy What's It. My own personal Discord channel that you really should join, because it's how you know when I'm going live, and I tend to post the schedule when I remember. Also a lot of other fun stuff that goes on. Just a cool place to hang out. But yeah, I think we're gonna head off to Blue Box now, because they're live. Yeah, and you should come with us. I always appreciate you guys coming to watch, and I hope we're gonna have a good time. Let's do it. Off to Blue Box. Let's do it. Let me just...